ready? Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, and in this video, I'm going to be interviewing a 24-year-old man who is financially free in property. He's got 4 properties that he's bought himself. He's also packaging and selling deals every single month. He's left his job, he's financially free, and he's going to be sharing in this video exactly, step by step, how he did it, so that you can do the same thing too. So I hope you enjoy the interview. If you like my channel, hit the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Enjoy. Thank you so much for coming to my house. Done amazing things in property. You've gone from working a normal job, you're now in your, how old are you?
24.
24, you own 2 properties, but more importantly, you're making how much profit a month are you making?
5,600 at the moment.
Okay, and that's a combination of rent and also deal packaging.
Deal packaging, yeah.
Where did this all get started? What made you want to get into property?
It was 2019. We renovated our own home, not intentionally trying to make any money, just renovated
This
it.
you and your...
Me and my partner Shona,
Right.
So massive shout out to her, my fiancée.
Yeah.
She made it all happen, to be fair. So,
Okay, good.
Yeah, massive support. And yeah, refinanced the house. I watched your videos on YouTube, and then I saw that you could refinance your house and use your money to invest in property. So that was our main goal. Obviously, watching your videos, the first thing I invested in was the academy, because I've been watching it for like ages. And then the buyer refinance course and all that sort of stuff, and yeah, that's how it started.
So your first property then, so you just bought it to live in?
Yeah, to live in, yeah.
And then the value went up a little bit over time,
yeah.
and you thought, hang on a minute, there's a bit of equity.
So rough figures, bought it for 154,000, spent 15 on it, and it revalued at 210.
And after how long?
Like 6 months.
So that was your like accidental BRR
Yeah.
living in it?
Yeah.
Nice. You still own the house?
Sold it now.
Sold it now.
You're living, yeah.
So you start watching my videos and you realise that you can invest with money that you've refinanced.
Yeah.
What did your friends and family think about this whole idea about going into property?
Super sceptical. Right, really sceptical.
Were they?
Yeah, really.
What did your mum think? You were a young guy.
Well, I remember signing up to the academy, coming home to my mum, and mum was like, "What have you done?" And it was just like, I was like, "No, trust me, I want to make it work, make it happen. I believe in it." So.
Yeah, because effectively, the money that you put into your education, not just your education, but also into other properties, was debt.
Yeah.
And that's the whole difference between good debt and bad debt.
Yeah.
Most people think, get a job. You had a decent job, man.
Yeah.
What were you working as?
Electrician.
Right.
48 grand a year.
Very nice. So you had the perfect start in life.
Yeah. I mean, it was a graft though, but it was,
Working hard, making £48,000, own a house, you and your partner. Any normal person in Britain would say, keep working hard, pay off the mortgage, retire young, and it will be this normal corporate rat race. What was it that made you take the plunge, like when you've got your family being sceptical?
The main drive for doing it was I worked away a lot, so I worked in Glasgow for like 3 months, and the people I was around, I could see they weren't happy. They'd been doing the same job I've been doing for 10 years, and they had children, and you know, I could tell that they wanted to be at home with their children, and it was capped what they could achieve. Right. So if I wanted to get further than where I was, I needed to be a director, which was very unlikely. Right. So the whole drive was to invest in property so I could be there for my children when I'm older.
Yeah. So when you refinanced then, how much cash did you have in your pocket? 50k.
Yeah.
And you spent about 10, 12 in the academy?
Yeah.
And again, my opinion, and everyone has to do what they feel is right for them, but if you've got 50k, 40k with all of the training and mentorship is going to go a lot further than 50k when you don't really know what you're doing. Yeah. So I know your family thought you were crazy.
Well, the first deal I did, I made the academy back in equity in the house.
So talk to me through that first deal then.
So it was in Hull. Yeah. So we bought it for 63,000, and including the refurb, legals, and the deposit for the bridging, it was 40k. So literally about bang on. Right. And when we refinanced, so we bought it for 63. They were the fees, and then it refinanced at 97,500. So once it refinanced, we left in 11,000.
Right, nice. Yeah. So you pulled out most of your money.
Yeah.
You did it again?
Yeah, again. That deal is pretty much identical to the second one, because we bought a house on an opposite street for 65. The refurb was a bit more than that, because we had a proper good power team in place. So I think that came to about 45 all in fees, bridging, deposits. Yeah. And when we refinanced it, we financed 110. And we left 9k in that. Both of them were about 30% return on investment.
How much, sorry?
30%.
30%. So you got so good at finding deals, a lot of people started approaching you. There's a guy called Patrick Welch,
who's
on the academy as well,
and
they were saying, you know, Thomas, can you bring your brilliant deals to us?
Yeah.
We want to sell them. Talk to me about how you got into co-deal sourcing and why you chose to do that.
So the first deal I actually sold was through Patrick Welsh, and that was when I was working full time. So we sold a buy refurb refinance deal near me in York for 5k, so 2.5k each, and it was like, hang on a minute, I've just made 2.5k, what I'd earn a month anyway, through deal packaging, co-deal sourcing with Patrick, and that's when I decided to leave my job in January and pursue deal sourcing.
Right. So you left your job and you started packaging, and that's a really interesting thing as well about deal sourcing. Packaging a deal and selling it doesn't take that long.
No.
If you do just one a month, you can replace the average salary.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and you're living proof of that. You went full time in January 2021 to become a deal sourcer. What was the biggest struggle after quitting your job? Were there times when cash flow was hard? And
I mean, so I left in January, and I was co-deal sourcing. I think we did about 4 or 5 deals co-deal sourcing, and then it reached a month where, 2 months where I didn't sell a deal. I don't know if it was the wrong patch but I was going for a bit of a rough patch of trying to get a good deal. And it wasn't until then when I went on the ACMP, which it got a lot better. So.
Tell me as well the story, because that was a classic couple of days. What's the ACMP? What's it stand for, and what happened?
So it's the Accelerated Coaching and Mentoring Program. And it basically sees where you are, what courses you've done, and where you want to go to, and what's preventing you, what problems you have, and it's almost like a bespoke package to you at that moment in time to push you further.
With me?
With you. Yeah. Exactly. Smack around with Samuel Leeds.
A lot of people. It's so funny how many people, like, you didn't want to come on Windows on a Wednesday. Let's face it, because you were a bit like, it's a bit nerve-wracking. What's the point? I don't want to do it. But there's so many Academy members that don't want to come on Accelerated Coaching and Mentoring because they know what's going to happen.
Well, I wasn't really aware, so I was just turning up thinking it was going to be normal, sit there, listen.
But I'm like, right, who's succeeding? Who's winning? All right, we'll put you over there. Who's struggling? Right, we'll put you over there. What's happening? Where are you going? So it was quite a brutal couple of days.
Needed, though. Needed.
What happened?
So I remember I put my hand up and said, where am I? When you said, where are you now? What's your problems? And I said, well, I've not sold a deal in 2 months. I'm quite worried. And you sort of said, let me have a look at your diary, what you've been doing. And you looked at my diary and there wasn't much in there. And I said, I go to the gym in the morning, I walk my dog. And you were like, so you're not actually starting your day till 10 o'clock in the morning? And just basically, I needed a shake really to get my head back in gear, I think I was getting too comfortable.
Right. And it's a really interesting point as well, because I know now you're smashing it, hence why you're here. But that decision when and when not to quit your job is such. I think there is no right and wrong answer.
No.
It depends on the person. Some people, when they quit their job, they're going to go crazy successful in property all the time. Other people not. It's really difficult for me to answer. What was it that made you decide January was the time to quit your job?
I think it was just working as an electrician and how hard you work, working weekends and stuff, and realising that, you're not actually going to get any further than you can't. So as soon as I could see that you can make a lot of money through deal sourcing, and I've always had an interest in property, I just saw, that's hard, you can achieve a lot more in property.
So it was this idea of making a capped amount of money.
And I knew how hard I worked within, being employed. If I put that into my own business, that I could do really well.
And that's another thing as well. I remember saying at the ACMP to some of the guys, maybe you, I was like, if you were your own member of staff, you'd fire yourself.
I think you said I'd be fired.
I'm like, you'd fire yourself. You can't wake up at 9 o'clock and start work at 10
exactly.
and do 3 views. Like, you can't do that.
No, you can't.
If you want to be successful as a deal sourcer. So since the ACMP, what's happened? That was about 3 months ago now.
I just basically had a reboot. I had to put everything back on paper and just think, what am I doing wrong? What's working? What's not? Took all the comments from, some of the mentors there that really pushed me in the right direction. And then now I'm selling deals, to investors directly. Before the ACMP, I was doing co-deal sourcing, so now it's directly to investors. And it's just really worked.
Pros and cons between co-deal sourcing and deal sourcing.
Co-deal sourcing, the pros first is you don't need to be compliant, so you can just package a deal and then they'll sort it all out for you. And then the negatives to that is, I like to know what's happening, and if you pass a deal to a co-deal sourcer, they'll sell it for you, but I like to know what's happening, what's been sold, what's the user the investor. I like to know the whole story behind it. When you're selling for yourself, you've got full control, so you can control everything.
And also you get paid more money.
Right. You really get double, don't you?
You came on the Samuel 365 mastermind session.
Yeah.
And I always ask everybody, I go around, what are you doing, what are you doing, what are you doing? I said to you, what are you doing, what's happening? And you spoke up, and when you spoke about how many deals you'd sold, I think you said, I made $7,000 this month, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It lasted about half an hour because everyone had so many questions to ask you.
I've had so many comments and questions, and it's been great. Really.
People were like, oh, how do you do this? And they're asking loads of questions. And that's why I wanted to bring you on Winners on a Wednesday, because I thought, actually, my subscribers could really benefit from this. So talk to me about what is deal sourcing and why did you choose that strategy, and how does one start becoming a deal sourcer from scratch?
So obviously I've done the 2 deals in Hull, and I felt ready that I could find more deals for investors, and I was finding more deals than I could take on myself. And I thought there's no point just not taking these on, so I started packaging them and selling them. So that's where you find a really good deal, you stack all the numbers, do all the relevant due diligence that you need to do, so it's actually a good deal, and it stacks, and then you basically present it to an investor, through your mailing list.
How do you grow that mailing list? Because it's all right for you to say, oh, I just.
You know what? That's a really good point, because before I did the ACMP, I didn't realise how much you need to concentrate on finding investors. I was concentrating on deals and not investors. So when I left the ACMP, I was like 50% investors, 50% finding the deal. So investors for me is social media. I think it's such a good platform. Even if you can send people rough deals you've already sold or deals you've stacked, it's a great way to find investors online.
And again, what you've done is you've built momentum, because you've invested successfully yourself in a couple of properties where you've bought them, added value, refinanced them. You've now you've successfully sold to investors, you've got a good reputation in the community, everyone's talking positively about you. Oh, I bought a deal through Thomas, it's gone really well. And I feel like the hardest deal is always your first deal.
It is, yeah.
It's getting that first deal. So with the BRR, when you're packaging and selling a deal, are these BRR deals?
Yeah, that's my bag really, is buy refurb finance.
Do you deal with the project management?
Yeah, do the whole job, yeah.
So you manage everything?
Yeah, I have a great build team that I found in Hull, and they operate quite a lot around the country, yeah.
So your first project that you did
that
first BRR?
Did that by myself.
What happened?
So I decided, because I was still in the trade, I thought, I'll do the work myself, but you remember I'm working a full-time job, I live in York, and my project's in Hull. Yeah. So I'm like stretching myself here. I mean, we did the refurb for only 15k, but now I have a build team that will do the full refurb for just over 20 for a standard 3-bed terraced house, the whole shebang. And it's just so easy.
But you won't be involved?
Exactly.
Or maybe overseeing it, but not doing it yourself?
Yeah, but let the professionals do it. Yeah. I was trying to do tasks which I wasn't really qualified in, and I probably had more problems later down the line than not getting a professional to do it.
I've noticed that a lot of builders or people within the trade, so you were an electrician for instance, feel like, oh, I could do this.
No, exactly, yeah.
But actually it's like, no you can't. You might be able to do the refurb, or maybe you can do part of the refurb, but doing a buy refurb from start to finish, you've got to find the deal, negotiate it, you've got to make sure that it values up, you've got to do all your due diligence, you've got to, there's so much to it besides just the actual refurb. But a lot of builders feel like, oh, I could do it, but they end up working on other people's jobs, getting investors rich, whereas they could be doing it themselves if they just humbled themselves a little bit. And I don't mean to say not all builders are like this, but I come across so many builders, they won't do the training, they won't pay a sourcer's fee, they won't, because they're like, oh, I could just do it myself. It's like, go on then, knock yourself out.
It's funny though, because now I'd happily pay a sourcing fee for a great deal, even if I don't find it. I think that a sourcing fee is nothing compared to what you can make for a great deal.
There are bad sources out there that ruin the reputation of others by doing things wrong. I'm sure you've come across this or seen this.
Yeah, I think that comes down to the building quote, to be honest. I think especially with buy refurb refinance, you've got to get your building quote right, because they're normally the three figures is the purchase price, the refurb and the end value. And people always underestimate the refurb and overestimate the end value. And
you only have to overestimate by 10% and then and suddenly it makes no money.
Yeah, you might as well just buy a turnkey investment.
You've got to get the numbers right. So how do you do that?
Well, I've had a good conversation with my builder, and we've gone through a spreadsheet, and now so if when I go to view a house, I tend to do a video inside. I also send the video to my builder, and then I also go through my spreadsheet and make sure everything is ticked off, and then it will pump out a figure to make sure it's the exact quotation to the pound what it's going to be. We always add on a 20% contingency, not a 10%, to make sure there's enough buffer. But it's funny when you said about the refurb and builders wanting to get involved. I honestly have to hold myself back so much to not get involved with refurbs. I think it's quite a nice feeling getting involved with them.
Yeah.
You know, seeing the end products and knowing you've worked on it. But
the definition of a business is something that can function with or without you.
yeah, exactly.
If you're having to do everything, then it's
Yeah.
kind of just a job.
Yeah, it doesn't make it's not a good financial decision
Yeah.
to do that.
So how many deals on average are you selling per month right now?
Well, it's on average. So since I left the ACMP, I did a deal per month. But then this month, I've sold 3 deals in 1 month. From selling a buyer of February finance deal to an investor, and the same investor said, you know what, I actually want 2 family lets as well. So this month alone, I've made 9k.
So you do on average £3,000 per deal.
Yeah. So over 3 months since the ACMP, it's 5k a month.
What about, do you charge extra for the project management side of things?
Yeah, but the one on the deal I've done in Darlington, the buyer of February finance deal, we've done it as a package. So we just charged a straight 5k fee for the deal and hassle-free setup and the project management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does the people that were sceptical at first, like your mom that was saying, are you mad?
Yeah.
Are they now won over, or are they still sceptical?
No, they're very won over. You know, a lot of friends and family want to get involved now, and it's just finding the time to make sure we can find them a great deal as well, because we do have over 200.
What about your mom?
So my mum really wants to get involved now.
Hey! Brilliant.
Yeah, they do. So we are working with them to try and find a good deal.
And also, you've made, it seems like, a lot of friends through the academy and through the training. You're part of like a support bubble like Dan and Patrick and the guys. You seem to have made a lot of good friends. Talk to me about that and the importance of that.
It's definitely surrounding yourselves with people like that, because Patrick, you know, he's been a massive help from the start with co-deal sourcing, and Dan, you know, he's just constantly just building up, saying, you know, you can do this, you've got to keep going, because you know, representing the best of me right now, but everybody goes through rough patches, you know. You know, it's not easy, and you do need a good support around you to keep pushing you through them rough patches.
What's been the toughest point over the last year or so?
It was before I came to the ACMP, because I remember speaking to Patrick at that course saying, I think I'm going to go back to doing 2 days a week, being an electrician. Wow. Yeah, and Patrick was like, nah, I'm going to speak to Alistair now. I'm going to speak to Alistair now, and he's going to tell you don't want to do that, because he was there as well. Yeah. And because I didn't sell a deal for 2 months, and you know, you've got bills, you've got, you know, people to provide for, so that was really difficult.
Do you think if it wasn't for the Accelerate Coaching and Mentoring program over those 2 days, if it wasn't for that, do you think you would have ended up going back to work?
100%, definitely. Yeah. Oh, if I was speaking it, I was going to talk into reality.
Yeah. So that would have sucked.
Yeah, it would.
You wouldn't be here on Windows on a Wednesday.
No chance. No, I would have probably gone back being a full-time electrician. Yeah.
Oh man.
I know.
So what was it about those 2 days that happened?
I think it's because I didn't do a course in a while, and I was just, you know, when you don't speak to people and you get yourself into a bit of a hole, and you know, you don't really feel like you can get out of it, and then you go to something that's comfortable, you know you can do, like, because I was an electrician for 7 years, I knew what I was doing. And then, I think to speak to everyone, I just thought, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm going to continue what I've started and make sure it works and finish it.
Yeah, it's something about environment as well, isn't it? Like on the ACMP, there's a bunch of other people that are really successful, and isolation.
Yeah.
You don't want to be isolated.
You've got to have them people around you, because I'd had that conversation with people that were, you know, electricians. They're like, yeah, come back to be an electrician, you know, but it's not the same environment you're in. It's completely different.
Yeah.
You know?
Out of all the training programs, aside ACMP, what's been your favourite one and why?
Buyer of February Finance.
Yeah.
Because they're the 2 deals we've done. Really enjoyed both projects, and you know, the strategy works if you find a good deal at the right price.
Yeah. Well, the deal selling masterclasses, that's where
And again, the DCM, you know, that's got me out of my job.
Yeah.
So to be fair, that probably comes above the Buyer of February Finance course, yeah.
But then I guess the strategies kind of go hand in hand, don't they? So if you're packaging and selling a buyer of February Finance, you need to be able to package and sell a deal, but you also need all the understanding of BRR.
I think by doing the 2 Buyer of February Finance deals first, that's really set me up for deal selling, because I know Buyer of February Finance inside out now, so I know how it works fully, and I feel confident when I sell a deal to an investor.
So talk about the process of a Buyer of February Finance. So what happens? What are the key skills and things you need to be able to do?
Making sure that you're not overpaying for the property. So you've got to make sure you get it in a really rundown state. Yeah. I know at the moment it is quite difficult with the market, but you've just got to really keep pushing through and finding the property at the right price. And then it comes down to the refurb. Knowing your refurb, you've got to speak to, you know, builders, get quotations, or, you know, have a good spreadsheet that you can do a good building quote, an estimate. And then it also depends on the end value, and that all comes down to due diligence and making sure you've chose the right property.
How do you work out the end value?
Typically for me, it's sold comparables on the road, but if you're struggling, you can look for square footage and square metres of the house, and then you can use platforms online like Property Data and Deal Source as well to work out square footage per square metre.
That's great.
Yeah.
How do you feel you've changed as a person? Because I know you've been stretched a lot at times over the last year or so. Have you changed as a person at all, do you feel?
I think so, yeah. Like, I think it's very easy to start something thinking it's going to be easy, and you've really got to push through it to make sure you get the results, because nothing's easy in life. It's really not. You've got to really work hard to get the good things, yeah.
Yeah. And I think, you've probably heard me say before, I say, if you're going to work hard anyway, you might as well get rich.
I know, exactly.
And everything's hard. Being on benefits is hard.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Having a job is hard. Running a business is hard. Being fat is hard. Being slim is hard. Everything's hard.
I know it is,
Life's not meant to be easy.
Exactly, yeah.
The key is to say, what kind of life do I want? And if you're going to work hard anyway, you might as well be rich.
Yeah.
And you've worked really hard. You were working really hard as an electrician.
Exactly, yeah.
But now you're working really hard on your business.
Yeah.
Have you got any other properties in the pipeline for yourself? Are you planning on growing your own portfolio anymore?
To be honest, we're going into a joint venture now with Dan Bowie.
Nice.
We've got a HMO, 6-bed HMO conversion in Darlington.
Beautiful.
We've purchased it for 105.
Oh, you just bought it?
Yeah, we're complete this week on the bridging.
Oh wow, you're a dark horse, aren't you? You've got extra deals going on.
Yeah, so we're going to complete this week, 105 purchase.
Yeah.
The refurb's going to come in at 65,000 and the end value is 240.
Nice.
So each of us will leave about 10k in the deal, but it's going to cash flow about 1,200, so £600 each cash flow.
Yeah,
net cash flow. Exactly.
Very nice.
What I'm learning now is I actually want to have a power team around me, because them two deals I've done them on my own, and I like bouncing off someone, and Dan I get on really well with. So.
Yeah, and again, Dan, another Academy member.
Yeah, smashing it. Yeah.
Absolutely smashing it. It's just been on Wednesday as well.
Yeah.
So, okay. And again, that shows as well, you've got BRR, packaging and selling deals, HMO, combining the strategies, joint ventures, another strategy.
Yeah.
What's the long-term vision?
So my strategy now I'm going to concentrate on is buy, refer, refinance to HMO.
Yes.
Because buy, refer, refinance to a family like is good, but it is slow pound.
Yeah.
And at the moment now I want more passive income through HMOs, but
So
also recycling my cash at the same time.
To think that this all started from one little house that you owned.
Yeah.
And then you thought, actually, can I refinance it? And then can I put some of the money into my education and into properties?
So from that one refinance, we've stretched it to do multiple deals now.
Yeah, which was 50k. It's not an amazing amount of money.
No.
Some people might go, oh, it's all right for you because you had a house. But the thing is, there'll always be people that can either find excuses or you can say, actually, well, what have I got going for me? I mean, on a Wednesday, some of the people on the shows you've seen, they're like, I started with nothing, I was homeless. And then other people say, I was in a job and I had 50 grand. Or everyone's got a different starting point. But the key is to say, where am I? Where do I want to go? And what's my fastest route to get there?
Yeah. But it's like with our own in a home. You know, me and my partner and fiance Shona, we've worked really hard to build our money up to buy a house, to renovate the house, and then to refinance. So it wasn't easy even doing that. It's not as like we've just had a house given to us. We've worked, our asses off to get that house.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. What would be some key lessons? You've been through good times, you've had bad times. What you've done is great. You're making about £6,000 a month every month through property, full-time in property. You've got 2 houses that you own with a third about to complete this week, and you're 24, bro!
Yeah, I know,
What would be some of the key lessons that you would share to people watching this?
I think, like we said earlier, definitely having the right power team around us, around you, and just believing in yourself, because, I think over that 2 months when I couldn't sell a deal, I didn't believe in myself truly. I think I was almost shying away from not doing the work. So just put the work in, and hard work always pays off.
That's so true. And you also were the winner at was it the crash course?
Won.
What happened?
So it was Newcastle crash course. I thought I'd go there, try and meet some more new people. And you set the task of trying to find the best deal in 20 minutes. Was it 20 minutes?
About that.
And then we managed to find a cracking deal in Newcastle, where I had the opportunity to develop a house next to a current house, and then won £100.
Yeah.
But I remember the two lads I had next to me, they weren't too sure, and I was like, we're going to do it. We're going to go up on stage.
But the funny thing is I do that at the crash course, and the crash course is a free training program, right? So anyone can come, it's free. And sometimes I'll set challenges, I'll say, hey, go and find a deal right now off the back of what you learned.
Yeah.
And the person that finds the best deal, I'll give £100. And everyone thinks it's about the £100. They're thinking, I want to win the £100, I want to win the £100. But actually, from my perspective, it's not about the £100, it's about the lesson. Because in actually doing it at the crash course, in actually finding a deal, even if you don't win the £100, the lesson and the skill to be able to find the deal is worth far more than the £100.
Yeah,
and I think sometimes people miss that. People want instant money, instant results, but sometimes you need to actually take a couple steps back, whether that might be spending time in education, whether that might be just going out and viewing a whole bunch of houses and getting rejected. You've got to take a couple step backs to then take 20, 30 steps forward. And I think some people, they're just not prepared to put the work in.
Yeah, well, the two lads I had next to me, one of them now, Ed Miller, he's actually my solicitor now. He actually deals with some of the deals we do, sort of completing on, so he's really good now. But they were quite uncomfortable to go up, and I was as well. But I thought, if we don't go up, you're never going to have a chance anyway, so let's just go for it.
So the guy that you partnered with in Newcastle has now ended up being your solicitor?
Yeah.
Great, and that's again as well, people, when they come to the events, and and people might not like me because of it, but I'll force people, I'll say, the person you came with, change seats. Exactly. And people are like, whoa, that's uncomfortable. But if you're not getting uncomfortable, then you're not growing, and then as a result, you end up doing joint ventures, building your power team.
Exactly, and now having him part of my team is so good. Having a good solicitor in your team is so important.
Yeah, amazing. So BRRs, deal sourcing, HMOs, you've just about touched on most of the strategies. 24 years old. Where are you living now? Are you renting that now then, where you live?
No, we've bought our own home on the outskirts of York.
Oh.
Yeah.
When did you buy that?
Bought that in December last year.
Is it a nice house?
Yeah, it's 4-bed detached, yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And so with that house you live in, plus your 2 hall ones, plus the ones completely straight, that's 4 houses. So
yeah.
Is it 4 houses, age 24?
Yeah.
Does it feel surreal?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it takes a while to sink in, yeah. I think since you're moving so fast, it's like, you don't really pay attention. You should celebrate all these things, but I just think, what's next, just keep going. And it's like now we're actually working on creating a HMO management company. So the deals we're doing in Darlington, we're going to have our own management company as well. So when we offer a deal to investors, we can take care of all the management as well. So we can do refurb, management, the whole shebang.
Nice. What made you choose Darlington?
Well, Hull for me is probably an hour and a half, and Darlington's only 45 minutes.
You're in York?
In York, yeah. So I know Darlington is 45 minutes away, like I said, and the London Treasury workers, 750 of their workers are moving to Darlington to be relocated because of the Treasury. Right. We've got 2 Amazon warehouses. They're spending £100 million on the train station over the next 5 years. So right now is sort of the time to invest. Yeah.
Okay. So patch-wise, is Darlington? Is that it then? Is that your patch?
No, I think that's just going to be for the next maybe year or so.
Yeah.
I am starting to go a bit further up north, looking at Newcastle now because of the crash course, and found a few deals there. Just trying to make them sort of stack. Yeah. I did have an offer accepted today while driving here as well.
Congrats.
A deal in Rochdale, so I'm excited about that one as well.
What does your partner? You said your partner was really supportive at the beginning, and you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her.
Yeah.
What's her involvement with the business now?
So she's just been massive support and just supporting me through the whole process, and she does take care of the stuff like helping with emails, and you don't realise that when you're out on the road finding deals, you've still got all the business admin and stuff to sort out. She's social media as well, but yeah, she's just been there through the whole process.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What's the name of your deal sourcing company, and if anyone wants to get in touch, what's the best way?
So it's Drury Lane Property Investments. And Facebook is the best way to get in contact with me.
In Facebook?
Yeah, Thomas Atkinson.
Thomas Atkinson, amazing. What would you say to someone watching this? I mean, you came down to the crash course, I think that's where it all started. Yeah. You've been back again and again since. What would you say to somebody that was an avid watcher of the videos but hadn't physically been to a crash course? What would your advice be?
You've got to go, because you can watch as many videos as you possibly can, but until you start building your own network and having people around you, you won't really act on it. And you need people to bounce off.
Yeah. So there we have it, folks. You've heard step by step exactly how Thomas has built up a portfolio himself, but is also packaging and selling deals to other people. If you want to do the same thing too, it all starts at the Property Investors Crash Course. Good news is I'm giving you a free ticket. So in the description, there's a link. You can get booked on. It's completely free. There's a £1 booking fee just to check you're a real person, and you'll be able to spend a day with me in person where you can learn all the ropes of being a property investor. If you want to come down, get booked on, do it now because there's very limited spaces. Also, please do me a massive favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more videos like this, you can check out an entire playlist here where people have become financially free again and again and again. But let's see you do the same thing too. I'll see you at the crash course. Thanks, peace out.